breaking through the noise doesn't have to be complicated. It just takes a little creativity, relatability, and authenticity. Sometimes the key isn't to yell over the noise. It's to say something meaningful in the right moment. And often, it's the simplest ideas that create the biggest impact. Your host, Rebecca Hourihan, has 5 strategies to grab attention. I'm Patrice Sikora. Rebecca, good to be with you again.
Thanks, Patrice. Excited to be here today.
Well, I went through this list. I like it. It's a good list. But 2 things popped out at me, and they were number 1 and number 2, cheese and pets. What does that have to do with this?
So one of our clients one day on LinkedIn posted a picture of cheese. And he had a funny caption. And he got like 50 likes, comments, shares. Like everyone was in love with this cheese picture. And he turns to us and he goes, I understand it's important to have content around retirement plans and fiduciary and financial wellness. He goes, but my cheese picture is still the number 1 tab. It always makes me giggle and laugh because people love humor and they love surprises. And this just showed a little bit of personality. It was relatable. He was having fun. So sometimes when you're on social media world and you want to do something different that helps people kind of stop the scroll, take a picture of your lunch. So the point is that you have something that's interesting, engaging, and is unique to a point in time.
It's relatable too. I mean, that's cheese. I like cheese.
What kind of cheese? My favorite cheese is this.
Exactly.
Oh, it was great. The next one that you mentioned was pets. So this podcast is about how do you stop the noise, because there's so much out there today in terms of email and social and blogs and articles and AI and videos. It's just, how do you get that instantaneous second? And one of the ones that's literally gold are pets.
Oh, true.
So if you have a pet, a cat, a dog, something unique and wild, and you're on a call or if you want to post about them, that will immediately, everyone who's scrolling through look at the cute doggy, look at the dog. And it's an immediate human reaction. So it humanizes your brand. It gets people to see a little bit more of the personal fun side of you. So if you're looking to help people kind of, look at that, use your pets. Or if you don't have a pet, borrow a pet.
Borrow a pet. We can start a business there. Rent a pet.
That's a great idea. Encore career, rent a pet.
Yes. Okay, what's next?
Next is personal interest. And in financial services, we always like to use the marathon analogy. It's very common. How do you run a marathon? You start 1 mile. If you wake up in the morning and try and run the whole thing, you'll be very sore and it'll be very painful. Or if you start saving, running 1 mile each week, you'll eventually get up to your long-term goal, long-term savings, retirement. So in financial services world, a lot of times we like to use the marathon as an analogy. Well, if you like to do running, hiking, reading, sports, you could always have a fun twist on whatever your hobby is. We just had whatever major sporting events coming up. You could do a fun kind of tongue in cheek on watching the game, cheering on my team, still thinking about long-term goals or, catching touchdowns doesn't happen overnight. Just saving for retirement doesn't happen in a day. Be creative. That was off the fly. So, but it was 10 more minutes. I'm pretty sure I come up with something better.
No, that made a lot of sense. It really did. I liked it because we are just coming off one of the big games.
Yeah. And there's so many fun sporting events coming up in, the next couple of months. Or if, sports isn't your thing, I just thought of painting. If anyone, I love to paint. My kid loves to paint. She's 3, so it's a little bit of Jackson Pollock style, but we could always do a blank canvas before, a photo during, and then it afterwards, and we could tie it into some sort of analogy as well.
Of course, and she'd love it, and you'd probably love it too.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a canvas sitting in our blank canvas sitting in our closet. I think that might be it's raining here. So I think that might be a fun tomorrow activity, a weekend activity. Do that.
I
All
look
right,
forward
guys,
to seeing
social
it on.
media. You will see it coming soon, but you heard it here first.
I love it. I look forward to seeing it online there.
The next one is on polls and engagement. So LinkedIn's algorithm, I've mentioned this many times, it keeps changing. It continues to change. They're trying to really get that social media engagement and connection. And one way to do that is by having polls or questions. So trying to make it interactive. Well, two things if you try this. Number one, you will see the amount of people who have viewed it, and you'll see like thousands of people who have viewed it. And then the folks who actually clicked to submit, it's interesting the dramatic difference in numbers. But both of them show you how many folks are passive. So when you think about when you're posting next time, people see your content, but 97% of folks don't actually engage. They just scroll. But then if you do a poll, you'll see how many folks are actually just scrolling. You could also get your teammates to weigh in on your poll. That's going to continue to raise the poll in terms of social media status according to the algorithm. So it'll continue to show up.
Might also give you an idea of what people are interested in responding to.
Yeah, that's the point of a poll. Yeah, so that way you understand like what are your top financial priorities for 2025. How do you celebrate, workplace milestones? There's a million questions, if you want to be like in our world, like which Secure Act provisions are you most excited about?
But it's so true, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you mentioned celebrations there. That's on your list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to celebrate the big and the small. People adore positive stories. So if you have a new teammate who has just joined, an intern, someone's birthday, celebrate an anniversary. How are you celebrating those? Take a picture. Congratulations, 4 years, 5 years, whatever the number is. Post it online, include a fun caption, get your team involved. It really provides that heart and that humanization. A lot of us run these amazing companies with these fantastic cultures. Show that to the world.
These are all wonderful ideas, but if you don't do them regularly, does that hurt?
Someone asked us that question. They asked, what's the cadence? Should we do professional content versus like kind of more fun? And we said 1 to 10. So for every 1 fun, do 10 more business related. Because even though you can have a really funny picture of cheese, if that's the only thing on your LinkedIn profile and people are looking you up to say like, is this the right 401k advisor for me? They're not going to get it. But if they can see there's lots of other materials that are professional, you understand the business, you're pushing forward with, the knowledge of the industry, they're going to say, oh, okay. And this person's funny. Like, yeah, this sounds great. I really want to work with this advisor. So consistent value, staying regular with industry materials that are posted, your own thought leadership, always make sure you're engaging back. So if the more likes, comments that you do, LinkedIn actually has favoritism towards your own profile in the future, towards the algorithm. And then be strategic. So, posting 10 sports things in a row might not come across the way that you're hoping. But if you post like 1 or 2, because it's like a really big game and you're so excited and this is your team and it's amazing. Yes, because everyone knows that you love this organization because that's who you are and that's part of your culture. Do it. But at the same time, consider that you do want to follow up with things that are specific to being a 401k advisor. And then as you go through this, the last thing is just to track it. So see where you start to see like spikes in social media engagement, email engagement, and other things that you're doing.
Talk a little bit more about engaging back.
Yeah. So the LinkedIn algorithm, kind of think of it like a point system. So for every time you like, comment, or share, LinkedIn's algorithm is giving you a point, like a like a value point, like a score point. And the more active you are, the more LinkedIn is likely to show your profile, your content on the news feeds of other people's.
Does it have to be a lengthy engagement, or you can just say yes or no?
Thumbs up.
Okay.
Thumbs up. That's all. It does not have to be a full-on comment. It's just showing that you have activity, I think is probably the best word, on that specific platform.
All righty. How can people reach you to talk some more about this?
Yay. Feel free to email me directly, Rebecca at 401k-marketing.com. I'm always on LinkedIn as well.
All right. And folks, be sure to follow this podcast, Rebecca's podcast, and share it with others. I'm Patrice Sikora, and thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much for listening to today's 401k Marketing Podcast. Click the subscribe button below to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of our guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of 401k Marketing. The content has been available for informational and educational purposes only. We hope you enjoyed.